Mermaid Junkies. Welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to be back. I fared the Hurricane Irma very, very well. I put out lots of set intentions to endure the storm and to fare very, very well, and we did. I think we maybe got one or two branches that fell down in our back garden, and our electric didn't even go out, so we were fine. I prepared and everything for as much as I needed to, because I'm pretty much was prepared before that, because I always have a lot of candles and a lot of water and things. So other than that, we took a little market trip and got some things, and other than that, it was fine. So in the midst of this storm and all sorts of emotions that have arisen, and I've noticed lots of social media things, and I've really cut down on my social media quite a bit, just because it seems to be such negative energy that I'm trying to, it's coming down to the, to the wire, so to speak, for my deadlines for my book. And so I've really, really narrowed down my activity outside of just doing my thing, focusing on my work and illustrations and writing and stuff, and tending to, the little cottage. But I wanted to talk about something that I think a lot of people deal with, and that is, what is your headache telling you? Now, I think probably I would be quick to say, I don't know of any person that's never experienced having headaches, However, we want to thank and appreciate those headaches, because I'm going to tell you exactly why we keep having headaches and what it actually means. So basically what having headaches means, some people have them really chronic. Some people have been injured, in accidents and things like that, and that's caused them to, and I quoted that. Now, you guys know me, and you know that I'm very much the proponent of believing that there is a reason, a metaphysical reason behind everything that happens or occurs to us. Because basically what that is anytime we're feeling pain, physical pain, it's an exhausted emotion within us that we have ignored. So in order for our bodies, and I've said this so many times, but in order for our bodies and ourselves to recognize something that perhaps we have ignored or overlooked, or a lot of times I think people will they acclimate to pain in life, pain as far as our emotions, if we're not in touch with our feelings and emotions. And so what happens is, in order for us to, in order for our bodies to get, our souls and our spirits to get our attention, it will exhaust those emotions and feelings and cause chronic pain within our body. So that is what is actually happening to you. If you are a person that gets headaches, or tension headaches, or whatever you want to label it or put in front of it, you're more than apt to do that. But I happen to believe that it is because what has happened is, after we start to feel that pain, maybe we don't have headaches a lot. I rarely ever have headaches. Probably, 2 times a year I'll have a little tinge of a headache or something, and that might be just because, maybe I'm coming off of a caffeine withdrawal, or perhaps, from my Zip Fizz, because I think it has a little bit of it has nutrients, but it also has a little bit of natural caffeine in it. But anyway, other than that, I really don't struggle with the occurrence of having headaches. But I know that I have many friends that do, and I've also had a lot of doTERRA, because I'm a doTERRA advocate, and so I sell the essential oils, and I firmly believe in them. And so I've had a lot of customers that will buy specifically for the peppermint, because it seems to really help with their headaches. However, I always feel like even though you want to use an essential oil to mask that pain, so to speak, it's really your body telling you that this emotion that you're having is wanting you to expand. There's something that that you should be let me see how I can say that. It's sort of like life in life summoning you to expansion. And if you have completely ignored those feelings and those emotions for so long, like you haven't expanded and you haven't listened to the universe wanting you to summon you to that call, you will start to get, lethargy and headaches, and the headaches will become more and more invasive. And so you're being resistant in some way in your life. Now, let me give you an example. Say, for instance, this is just an example that I knew of a particular lady, okay? And so she was struggling with headaches quite often. And so basically what we did is kind of talk her through, because I'll explain to you next how you can recognize what it is that you are resisting, and so then we can help you to work through that. But okay, so for instance, she was saying, oh, I'm getting chronic headaches. She was a very a working woman, right? She had children and she worked out of the home and she loved doing that. And she thoroughly enjoyed getting ready every day, and she didn't necessarily mind so much as it became a struggle within her marriage that her husband was very, very much wanting her to become a stay-at-home mom. And she reluctantly, she decided to become a stay-at-home mom, and she began having headaches quite often. And so we kind of worked through that, and instead of recognizing like, oh, I think it's the children, or oh, I've just been running ragged today, or oh, I am stressed out about this, or stressed out. I mean, yeah, headaches are brought on by stress, but that's one inclination. That's just one little variable of it colliding, so to speak, with your emotions of why you've ignored them for so long. So basically, I'm hoping that this volume is up. Oh my God, that would be horrible, wouldn't it? Anyway, so basically what we worked through was, I said, okay, so each time that you feel a headache coming on, and this is kind of how I helped her to work through it, is you need to realize what you've been chewing on. If there's something that you've been pondering, you might need to sit back and think, okay, what was I thinking about prior to me getting this onset of a massive headache? And so you can say, well, I was thinking about this or whatever. And so she really was having more of a difficult time, and explaining, like, because we become so accustomed to, like, oh, we'll just take an Advil or whatever, and that's just the natures of life and everything. But it's really not. I mean, it's not normality for you to have headaches or chronic migraines every single day of your life, or at least 4 times a week, or I mean, so many times I think us in life, we want an answer to the reason that we're having, oh, I have this particular thing, oh, I have sinus issues, oh, I have this and that and this and that, which can very well be true, but it's only another reason of your body and your emotions that you've been ignoring, that you've been masking. So what happens is, it might start as a headache or whatever, but then it bleeds into all of these other illnesses and aches and pains and stuff, because if you've chronically been angry for a long time, you're going to manifest all of these physical, metaphysical traits within you that's going to cause you pain. And so one of them, I think the quickest thing is a headache, because that will get your attention. But if you've acclimated to that and you no longer are reaching for expansion, and you've not summoned the call of the universe trying to say, no, expand, you're going to get, there's other things are going to happen to you. So anyway, I kept talking with this lady and stuff, and I said, what every day do you feel like, when do you start feeling that or whatever? And she said, well, it's almost like I've gotten to where now it's just like you just learn to live with the headache. I'm like, it's just a constant thing or whatever. And I said, well, how do you really feel about, staying home with your children now that, you're a stay-at-home mommy and everything like that, and instead of being, a career person? And she said, I really don't like it. I really am aggravated. I feel trapped. I feel frustrated. I don't want to be here. I think my kids can feel that my emotions and my temperature rises really, really quickly because I get aggravated with every little thing. And she said, I just really don't like this choice that I've made, but I don't want to upset my husband and us have, marital issues, because I actually really want to be a career woman. I don't want to stay home. And so I think that is exactly, when you start to recognize, and you can sit down and understand where it is that this headache is stemming from, whatever emotion it is, or things, something that you've ignored or whatever, then you have to start doing the actual mental work to get yourself back out of that. And so, I'm not this person to tell someone exactly what to do. I mean, if you ask for my opinion, or you want to know, like, in the best interest of what you think I would do, I always say, obviously, because my main channel is, my channel is about living authentically, right? And your transformational journey. And what I would do is I would say, you know what? I think I'm going to start slowly progressing back into getting into the work field, because as much as I love you, I'm more important. Like, as much as she loves her husband and loves her children, some people just aren't meant to do certain things that other people are. And so when you start closing in and compounding those great, great desires within your life, you're going to become ill and sick and unhappy and angry and sad. And, you're going to get wrinkles. Because all of these things happen because you're not living authentically who you are. And so I think it was really, really an eye-opening thing for her, because first of all, you have to be willing to say, you know what? Yes, there is probably some emotion or feeling that I have completely squashed down for so long, and it's a process. And that's the other thing, is don't be overwhelmed by thinking that I have so much stuff that you need to, work through and everything. But that's the beautiful thing about getting a headache, is that you have to appreciate that emotion, that metaphysical emotion that you have pushed down for so long, because that is our indicator of what's going on in our lives. That's our body and our spirit and our soul telling us, look, there's something wrong here. You're not summoning the call that you truly desire in life. And anyway, if I can just, say this, that, it's important for us to summon the call. And when we're getting headaches, we're being contradictory to that particular goal and summoning call that the universe and that your inner guidance system is summoning you to, and you're not going. And so you're going to keep getting headaches if you keep, pushing those emotions and feelings down and you ignore them. And so anyway, so that is the one thing, is that once you recognize that you are having, headaches, recognize where it's actually coming from. It's your body, heating you to recognize that you're resistant in some area in your life. And then realize that your inner being is summoning you to a call, but you're being contradictory in that, like you're pushing it down and you're not allowing it, so you're going to get headaches. That's the reason for your headache. And then the way to work through this particular metaphysical issue is to recognize what you've been chewing on. What have you been thinking about? What have you been putting a lot of your attention to in your thoughts and processes? When you recognize that the headache comes on, that is a clear indicator that you are thinking of this particular thing in a different way than what you actually wanted in life. So you're being contradictory in your beliefs. And so you're going to have to recreate new beliefs and sort of regather your greatest desires and wants, and start heeding those particular calls that the earth is summoning you to, or your inner being is summoning you to. And so I hope that this helped you, and I hope it served you. And I know headaches can be terrible, but just remember that they are your friend. Headaches are your friend, and they're only helping you to recognize what's going on with you emotionally and internally. And so I am so glad to be back, and I'm happy to see all of you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. And as always, I'm yours until my next swim. Ciao!